Hey everyone, Yoyston here with an extra video for you all taking a quick look at the upcoming Lord of the Rings projects that we can expect either releases of or updates on this year in 2024. There are actually quite a few things that we know of coming out soon, so thank you all for tuning in. Let's begin our tale. Let's start with the things we know of coming out this year before I jump into a bit more speculation. Rings of Power Season 2 is likely to be the next Middle-earth adaptation, if you can call it that we see over 2024. Currently, it seems Rings of Power Season 2 is slated for another fall season release, just like Season 1 in 2022. I, of course, had my fair share of criticisms for Season 1, and it seems that a lot of work was already rolling for Season 2 before the first season had even come out, so we will see if Amazon listened to many of the criticisms put forth towards the show, or if Season 2 will follow very much in the same pros and cons of Season 1. That aside, I imagine we will start seeing promotions for it fairly soon, some pictures, trailers, TV spots, as well as some potential news and magazine articles, if they promote the show in the same sort of way they did in 2022. This will continue the stories of Season 1, of course, exploring the distribution of the Rings of Power, Sauron's return to Mordor, and Gandalf's, I guess if that's Gandalf, his adventures. I have heard tell of Celeborn being in this season, as well as a lot of other rumors, but we'll see. I will be honest, I'm obviously not as optimistic about Season 2 at this point as I was about Season 1 prior to its release, but at least we know what we're in for. I'm going to try to approach this in a level-headed and rational way, even if I'm less than cautiously optimistic, as so many of us said about Season 1. I'll be ready to discuss such things as they come out here on the channel. Beyond this, we know that as of today, we will see the release of the War of the Rohirrim anime film on December 13th of this year. Expectations for this from the community and from myself are quite high for this film, seeing all of the people associated with it. Originally, it was going to release in April of this year, but due to the SAG-AFTRA strike of 2023, it was pushed back. This will tell of Helm Hammerhand's tale and the war between the Rohirrim and the Dunlendings, but more than that, it seems, as the Olifants of Harad, the Mumakil, are also depicted in one of the art pieces for the movie, so it may be more expansive than just the Dunlending War. We'll have to see. I'm quite excited for it. And honestly, of all the things set to release this year, or things we're likely going to get updates about, I think I'm most excited for the War of the Rohirrim. Moving on, in the aftermath of the very poorly received Gollum game and the generally well-regarded Return to Moria game from 2023, we know of at least two more video games that are currently being developed. Private Division and Weta Workshop are working on the Tales of the Shire game, which is said to be released sometime this year in 2024. It is meant to be a cozy Hobbit game, meaning a game that is meant to be easy and relaxing, no stress and non-competitive. We also know that Amazon is working on an MMO after all. Despite originally working on one before, seeing it canceled, and starting to work on a new one, there's no way that this thing gets released this year, and we know little to nothing about it yet, so I'm sure we'll just see lots of updates about it if they continue to work on it and this one doesn't also get canceled. Speaking of games and Lord of the Rings MMOs, I still absolutely love the Lord of the Rings Online myself, and last year's Umbar expansion was pretty good. Assuming that they follow their trend from the past few years, I imagine we'll see some sort of smaller or mini expansion for the game this year. They always announce their plans every year near the end of January in a producer's letter, so we will see soon. Circling back to Warner Brothers, as they work on the War of the Rohirrim, we do also know that earlier last year, Warner Brothers announced the creation of new Lord of the Rings movies, but little beyond that. Again, I'm hoping for something more of a few anthology movies that take place before the Lord of the Rings, but we'll see. Warner Brothers has gone through quite a bit of change and craziness the past year and a half, so we'll see if really anything takes off with those. If so, we will definitely hear more about those movies this year. I'm pretty sure of it. As for any book releases and so forth, seeing that we have gotten some extended lore and notes of Tolkien over the past few years, such as Nature of Middle-earth, Fall of Numenor, the extended letters of J.R.R. Tolkien, I wouldn't be surprised if we got another similar sort of release like that this year. And there we have it. I hope this little video has been helpful as we look forward to some hopefully good faith and well-made adaptations of Tolkien's works in multiple mediums. I'm so excited to talk about them all with you guys as we come into a new year here. So, as always, thank you all for watching. Thanks to our Valar Tier patrons and YouTube members. Peter Sheppard, Merten, John Hume, Elizabeth Calvert, Maz Gibs, Rhys Jenkins, Arthur Merlin, Dale Davis, Kingswild Project, Theodore, Moon Viper, Andrew Carlisle, and Zoomi. Thank you so much to all of our patrons and YouTube members. My friends, thank you all so much for joining me on this adventure. Until the next one.